Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. Thanks again for watching. It's Tuesday the 4th of November and this is your look ahead video. Don't forget you can subscribe to us on YouTube and get instant updates as to when the videos are updated, and you can subscribe to us to get email updates as well. Bit of a chilly one last night. These are the minimum temperatures up till 6 o'clock on Tuesday morning, and you see here one or two temperatures below freezing, so we did certainly see some cool weather around, and that's led to one of the first widespread ice events of the year on the roads. Many of you are reporting this morning actually back to us saying how slippy the roads were. Not everywhere though, got some showers out towards the western parts of Wales and also across eastern parts of England, as well as down in the far southeast as well. Now tonight looks as if it's going to be another chilly one as well. These are the minimum temperatures into Wednesday morning, and we're looking at the frost again across central Scotland down through northern England. Perhaps not quite so cold across central and southern parts of the country, but still I'm not going to rule out the chance of some ice just about everywhere tonight. And a frost too, which I know is going to interest many of you who watch, who garden or farm. Now, as far as the coming days are concerned, this is the 1 to 4 day 500 millibar mean of the heights, valid from now until Saturday. And notice it just keeps this trough look in place through the UK, extending down to Central Europe. So basically saying the unsettled conditions continuing. Still got the ridge out in the Atlantic and off towards the east as well. And then day 5 to 8 looking like this. Very little change really, with the trough still in place, so still staying with relatively cool conditions. But you notice here, look, how we've got this building ridges off towards the east and towards the west. A general building pressure taking place. Is this a sign of something to come? Well, it may be the idea of high pressure trying to get its act together again, but all the hints from the analogues are that actually that high will push away towards the north and dominate there through the winter. But actually from the models, it's not saying that at all. One of the problems we've got with this winter forecast is the changing position of the El Nino. This is the probabilistic based forecast from the IRI from mid-October, and it's the bars that we're interested in here because these are the probabilities of an El Nino forming. So the red bars here are the probability of El Nino, and the green bars are the probability of neutral conditions, whereas the blue here are the probabilities of La Nina conditions developing. Now you notice how what we've got across the bottom here are the seasons: October, November, December, November, December, January, December, January, February, January, February, March. Now notice how high, look, the chance of an El Nino is, running at sort of 65%. The chance of neutral conditions is running around 35% at the moment, and neutral is classed as an El Nino anomaly of around minus 0.5 to 0.5 degrees. Now if we look at the sea surface anomaly chart from yesterday, so this is from the 3rd of November, and in that El Nino 3.4 region, we're seeing that warmer water in there already, so we're kind of 0.5 to 1 degree above normal, so that's the El Nino in place. What's interesting here is this cold pool that's been dominant through the central parts of the Atlantic continues to be in position there. Now, this is something I can take no credit for. This is Joe DeLeo at weatherbell.com who picked up on this idea of the comparison with the winter of 1977-78. These are sea surface temperature anomalies for that period. As I say, this is Joe's idea over at weatherbell.com. I actually worked with Joe for several years in the middle 1990s when we were setting up the Weather Channel over here in the UK, and wow, what a meteorologist that guy is. But anyway, he now works at weatherbell.com, and this is what he's picked up on. This is the comparison between winter 1977-78 with now in terms of sea surface temperature anomalies, and very similar El Nino plume there going through the Pacific during that time. But interestingly, look, this cold pool in the Atlantic. Now I actually don't think this is perhaps the perfect fit that we'd be looking for, because of course the Atlantic is warmer within this zone here at the moment, as we just seen on the chart. So if we just bring up that chart again, look, here it is. There's the cooler water, look, in the mid-Atlantic, but notice how it's warmer than normal surrounding there. So actually it's not a perfect fit for the Atlantic, but it's one that's worth taking a look at. So let's just move that one out of the way again. Bear with me just a second while we get rid of that. Let's just move that out of the way. There we go. We can get rid of that completely. And look, you see it's a similar sort of pattern. Now, 77, 78 looked like this as far as the sea level pressure anomalies were concerned across Europe. Well low the normal pressures look across the central parts of the northeast Atlantic there, southwest of the UK, and all across central parts of Europe, indicating certainly a more unsettled flow. But this is what's really interesting. This is the mean sea level pressure for that winter. It had low pressure centred out towards the west and north of the country, high pressure off towards the east, a low as well down in the Med, which would have consistently formed on this pattern. But what would be interesting here is that the overall flow would actually have been something like that. So we would have seen this high trying to sneak back in from the east time to time, giving us hits of cooler air, always most of it off towards the east, but tending to stay with that milder south to southeasterly flow across many western and southern areas. It's increasingly been where our winter forecast has been taking us. Now, surface temperature looked like this, below normal across France, across much of Central Europe, but look, actually close to or even above normal for the UK, for Scandinavia, for southeastern parts of Europe. And rainfall looked like this, wetter than normal conditions across Spain, across southern parts of France, central Mediterranean, Italy, running into southeastern Europe. But dry conditions, really dry conditions, up towards the north and the east of the country. So fascinating to see how that played out as the winter overall, which suggests there was a flip-flop of pressure patterns, perhaps from the high getting in at times and then being pushed back by that low out towards the west. But the overall pattern was that it was dry across much of the UK. Now, this is what the mean 500 millibar anomaly looked like during that winter of 77-78. And look, you notice how down to the south of the UK, there's the focus, look, for the low heights, unsurprisingly, considering where we saw that low pressure. So the jet basically screaming through here like so. But look at that, above normal heights towards the north, the ridge in here. So it's that idea, look, of this ridge over Scandinavia building all the time and towards the north of the UK kind of shows it more dramatically. And what's interesting is that ties in quite amazingly with this. This is Hugo van den Hul's analogue forecast for December, January, February. And look, the higher than normal heights north of the UK, there's the lower than normal core down to the south, look, coming into Europe here. We're split across the globe here, so you've got to look at both sides. And look, higher than normal heights towards the north. So a real comparison there, a real likeness between those two. Now the CFS is doing a bit of swapping and changing. This is the latest ideas for November from the CFS. It has this build of heights off towards the east, look, has the trough out towards the west. I suppose we should extend it down there like so. That's what it's trying to do for the rest of the month, which kind of ties up and strengthens our November forecast idea, which, just to remind you, was this. Now this went off to private clients early part of October, and we showed it here on the website first of all at the end of October, and at the moment we're pretty happy with the way that seems to be turning out. Now beyond that, CFS then for December, this is today's run, remember it's just one run. He's putting low than normal heights across the UK through December, building a ridge down towards the south but strengthening the jet through here, goes for a more unsettled month. Again, it's basically, that would put Ireland, England and Wales in the firing line for some pretty wet weather, with Scotland probably dry. That would be temperatures near normal through December on that one. And then for January, it does this, tries to build the ridge off east again, strengthens this trough out in the Atlantic, look, builds the ridge off towards the north. So it's trying to hint at something trying to get going within that zone. Although by February, it's trying to reverse that, trying to put lower than normal heights across the north and the west of the UK. And again, screams the jet through and goes for the idea of a windy, wetter period again through February. But what you have to remember is that this is the daily CFS, okay? These swap and change every single day, so you have to remember, and this is for the whole month. Remember me saying at the beginning there that I was talking about a chop and change, a flip-flop taking place, where we would find cooler conditions coming in for a few days as the high built in from the east, and then being pushed back by the idea of these low pressures coming in from the west. I think that's what the CFS here is trying to kind of hint, that it sees that taking place. And what is interesting is, if you again remember back to the anomaly chart, and let's just show you that again, if I can find it. There we go. Remember, this was the sea level pressure anomaly, and look, you see that area of low pressure there down in the Mediterranean here in 1977-78. This is the whole of the winter, so that area of low pressure was down in the Med. Now if we just remove that again, and we'll just remove that chart off, look, there it is. There's the trough in the Med. So, you know, you can pick out bits and pieces from what the CFS is trying to do here. And yes, it changes day to day, but it is trying to get a story going. As I say, I don't think we're quite there yet. I don't think 77-78 is exactly it, but I wanted to show it to you. It's well worth listening to what Joe DeLeo says. So it was worthwhile showing. We'll do some more digging in the records, see what we can find. Just a quick resume then before we finish of what's going on for the rest of this week. We got a north to northwesterly flow today. Showers across northern eastern Scotland, showers across Wales, southwest England, showers across the southeast as well. Hopefully they'll be fading, eventually become confined to more eastern areas. It's then a chilly start with some showers across central and eastern parts of England through Wednesday. Drier off towards the north and the west. Shouldn't be too bad a day on Wednesday actually. Touch of frost to start, and a frost overnight into Thursday too, but fronts piling in from the west, bringing cloud, bringing wind, bringing rain with them. Some of it quite heavy over in western areas, not reaching the east until late in the day. That rain then lasting overnight to Friday, strong winds for all, but the rain clears eastwards on Friday morning. Blustery showers piling in from the west then, together with a strong wind. And on Saturday, more rain being forced northwards and eastwards through the country, together with strong winds, but then showers following from the west, leading us into sunshine and showers for Sunday. I think Monday, Tuesday, similar as well. Could actually be a couple of dry days in there. And just finally, quick look at temperatures. This is over the next 15 days. And just look how temperatures kind of remain fairly steady, don't they there? So no real dramatics showing up. Could be some frosts around, but essentially what we've got out there temperature-wise at the moment is pretty well what we're probably going to be seeing for the next couple of weeks. So there we go. I hope I haven't confused you too much. I know there was lots in that video. Plenty there, I know. But I wanted to show it to you. Anyway, it's just interesting, I think, for you to see these sort of ideas that we work on and where they come from. But I'll leave you for now with that. Don't forget you can watch the video again if you want to. Remember to tell your friends about us. And whatever you're doing, have a great day and keep the sun shining. Bye for now.